All right, and here we go. So without further ado, I'll let Rebecca take it away. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. It's nice to have training sessions like this to go through the new platform. And let's jump in. I'm going to be flipping back and forth between a little slide deck that I've prepared and the actual backend so we can see it live and go through some of the important things to know. So I'm going to just give a little introduction to us at Turismo, and then today's topics, we're going to go through claiming your listing, some tips and tricks, important things to note about editing and updating your listing. We're going to go through submitting events, some of the frequently asked questions that were submitted, and then what's coming up with Turismo and for features for you guys as collaborators. As Sarah mentioned, Charles has introduced himself in the chat, so he's around. If you have any questions, you can drop it into the chat there, and we'll make sure to go through everything at the end. Any type of sign-in or login issues typically is handled on an individual basis. We'll go over some maybe frequently asked questions or problems at the end, but you can also email us at support@turismo.co. So first, to introduce myself, my name is Rebecca. I am the Director of Product Enablement at Turismo, and I am the dedicated account manager for Visit the County. So anytime that you're emailing support@Turismo or you're messaging the chatbot, it goes right to me. That's not a robot responding to you. That is myself. I am based in Pacific Standard Time, so there is a little bit of delay. Sometimes I won't be answering immediately, but if you're messaging us in the afternoon, I should be online and ready to assist you. We're going to start with going into claiming your listing and kind of what that looks like. So I'll just quickly go through a few highlighted tips and tricks, and then we'll dive into the back end to go through it together. But first I want to talk about some changes to the platform. I want to just give a little bit of an introduction to Turismo and what it can offer, both as a software provider, but also to you guys as collaborators. So changes to your platform include improved event submission, both with reoccurring events and the ability to have back-end and front-end event submissions, and we'll go through that in this presentation. We have improved filterability and searchability on the website using tagging structures, but also using like a general site-wide search feature. We have AI integration, and some of that we'll go through with collaborators, but we also have it on a more administrative level in terms of reporting available and analyzing available. We have automated reporting available for collaborators and for administrators. We have real-time content editing, so any type of changes you make in the back end happens in real time within a refresh on the page, which really helps to see your changes and make sure it's looking exactly how you want it to. And we have a bit more customizations on the listings as well as just the backend in general. So starting with your listing, we had listing data migrated over from your previous web provider. And so we've noticed a couple things that we want to ensure that all of the collaborators are aware of to make sure that all of the data on your listing is accurate and showing the most up-to-date information. So our kind of top things we notice that we want to point you guys towards when you log into Turismo for the first time and you're looking at your listing is the assigned region. We want to make sure that your listing has a lat long, which was not typically a field that was previously required. So some of the listings are missing lat and longs. We tried our best to make sure that everything got filled in. But in order to appear on a map, if you're not seeing your business appear with the map pin, you need to check that you have a lat and long. And I'll show you how to do this when we're in there. We have a new capability of linking your operating hours, and this goes right to your Google Business profile. So whenever you have your website in your listing profile, that connects you to your Google Business profile, and it can be automatically updated with your operating hours. You can also add notes into your operating times if you have specials, happy hours, maybe you're open seasonally, or maybe you're open in later in the summertime, you can add notes into your operating hours so that your customers know that there's an off season, there's specials that they can find during the week, and make sure that all of your information is there. We want to make sure that all of your e-commerce booking links are correct. Double check that information when you log in. You can also update your social media links and ensure that anything that is not in your profile is in there. Lastly, we have the ability to update your email address to be public facing. So a lot of the times when you are claiming your listing, a common issue we find is that the email didn't get sent, the email invitation didn't get sent to the email that you might have assumed it would be. This happens all the time for like restaurants that maybe have a public facing email like reservations@businessname.com. But maybe you were looking for that invitation email in your personal one or at like an info at. That's a really common issue we find to people not receiving their platform invitation. But I want to note, and I'll show you this when we're in the back end, once the listing has been claimed and you're in the back end, the email address field is public facing, so you can go back and change that email address to be the reservations at or an info at, even if it says that it's now your manager email. So that one I'll point out when we're in the back end. Lastly, I just want to mention to any accommodation operators that if you are in an accommodation, we are asking you to go in and add your short-term accommodation number. This is a new field added to the listing profiles. And so I'll point this out when we're in the back end, but we want to make sure that you guys are going in there and updating this field. Okay, let's head over to the back end to go through. All right, so here I'm in the back end as a collaborator. I have claimed a listing just for reference for today. So if you're the owner of the Studio Peck, I promise to return this listing to you. But I wanted to have something to be able to show you guys and to go through. So this is what your dashboard should look like when you arrive into the back end. You have your edit profile. This is only back-end profile. This doesn't affect anything on the front end, but this just shows you what your email address is, and you can edit your name, email address, or upload a photo if you'd like. We have your content here, which if you are an owner of multiple businesses, we're happy to change to merge all of those businesses into one profile. So if you own a winery and also an accommodation, we'll make sure that they appear both under the same dashboard, even if they have different public-facing emails. So make sure to reach out to us if you would like those listings to be merged into one account. And then you would have events down here as well. So as soon as you start submitting events, either on the back end or on the front end, they're going to show up here so you can monitor them and edit them when needed. Events right now are on an approval basis, so there is a little bit of a delay in terms of submitting an event because the Visit the County team will be reviewing them, ensuring that they have the proper tags, and then publishing them. So I would give about 48 hours to make sure that your events are showing up correctly on the website. So let's click into an event. You can go through the content tab on the left-hand side here, and you'll be able to see your listings here. So clicking in, this is the top tabs that you should be able to see. Another really common sign-up issue is that the listing, you might have been invited to the platform, but you might not have claimed your listing yet, which is just one more step to verify that you are who you are and that this listing is yours to claim. So that would look like this over here, where we have this listing is unclaimed. If you see this button, that means you just have to go one more step further to fully verify yourself. And then you should be able to see all of these tabs up here. I think without this button, you might only see a overview tab. So let's dive into it a little bit. In our overview, we have our basic information here and our tagging system. So this is going through a bit of a restructure in terms of some organizational pieces with the Visit the County team. So this might be updating in the next month, but we have opened this up to collaborators now to be able to tag themselves. So the tag system is a little bit different than your previous website provider. We use tags to help surface content on pages. So any type of heading that you see here, this relates directly to a things to do page or guide, as we call them, on the front end. So now that we've opened this up, it would be great for you guys to look through these tags and ensure that the ones assigned to your listing are correct. You can add new tags by clicking this plus button over here, and you'll see the rest of the options pop down, and you can just click on one to add it to your business profile. If you want to remove them, there's an X here, and you can just remove any tags here. If you see a category that you maybe see on the front end, but you don't see attached on your listing in the back end, you can press this add tag button here, and it'll bring up our categories where you can then scroll through and assign tags that way. If you have any questions on tags, feel free to send an email to both either myself or hello@visitthecounty.com. As I mentioned, we'll be doing a bit of a restructure, so this might look a little bit different over the next month, but for the most part, they're available for you to review now. In this recent activity, you'll be able to see a quick highlight of some of the reporting details and also any events that you have attached. So this is a good little measure of making sure that everything you submitted is attached in your profile. Now let's click through our tabs. So I'm going to start with location and hours. And this is where you will find that primary region. So we have a drop down of all of the wards in the county, and we want to make sure that you're being that you are being assigned to the correct one. This will make sure that your listing shows up in that region page on the front end of the website. Down here, we have our latitude and longitude. This is really important to have because this gives you this map pin on the front end of the website. So when you're looking at the things to do page, the where to stay, even the region pages, and we have a map with all of our listings, we're going to get that pin here as long as you have this latitude and longitude. And to get the latitude and longitude, if you don't have it there right now, you can just search for yourself on Google here, something like this. And when you find yourself on Google, if you right click on your pin, the latitude and longitude appear first. And if you click on this, it will copy it right to your keyboard. So then you can just come back into here and paste your latitude and longitude in here. Okay, on the right-hand side, we have our operating hours. If you don't have anything here just yet, you can click this link hours from Google, and this will connect to your Google Business profile hours. So as I mentioned, we have the ability to add multiple hours for every day and add labels to them. So see, this business is open in the morning and then again in the evening on most days. They're welcome to add either notes about these hours, but also you can just leave them like this. If you want to have like 7 to 12, 5:30 to 7:30, it'll show up exactly like this. If I was a restaurant and maybe I wanted to add in my lunch special hours or maybe my happy hours, I can add a little note here that says, 5:30 to 7:30, that's my happy hour. And I can go through and add those notes. And then it just gives the user a little bit more information about what's available at your business. Moving on to our basic info. So here's more of the content that lives on your listing profile page. So starting at the top, we have your name. This has generally been assigned a listing type, but you can select a new one if you'd rather be found under a different type of listing type. Listing types are mutually exclusive. So it's one type per business, whereas you can use tags, like in the front here, to be represented under more categories. That's kind of our main distinction. So tags get you on multiple pages within the website. Your listing type is just the type of operator that's going to show up on your listing profile. So we make it the most general and the most vague option. Your subtitle here, this is what shows up underneath your listing name on your listing profile. A lot of operators don't have subtitles at this point, which is fine, but you're welcome to add something. We recommend to keep it short, keep it punchy, like it should just be under, 50 characters, one sentence type of thing. We have a short description. A short description is what shows up on your card view. So if we head over to the website, I'll give an example of what I mean. We come over here. So these descriptions on what we call a card, this is on the where to stay page, but it would be the same on the restaurants page, on the outdoor adventure page, on the region page. This is your short description. So we try to recommend to keep it short because it is just in this card view. And if it's too long, it will get cut off. When you click into a listing, this is your long or full description. And if you had a subtitle, it would appear right underneath your name and title right up here. So back over here, short description, that's your card description. Full description, that goes on your listing profile page. Those are the distinctions. Up at the top here, we have your owner and contact details. So as I mentioned, this is the email field that is public facing. So this will show on your listing profile page. This might be your more private email if you personally wanted to claim the listing. So you're welcome to update this after you've claimed the listing, because this might say Rebecca@thestudiopec.com, and maybe I want to change it back to hello @ or an info @. So make sure to just review this and make sure it is the public facing email you want. We have items like phone number, your general website, and then your e-commerce or booking link. This could be a reservation link if you're a restaurant. It could be a merchandise shop, anything like that can go in here, and it'll just have a separate call to action button on the front end. Down here, we have additional links. This is usually where we recommend you add your social media links, LinkedIn, anything like that. We have new Google business reviews and TripAdvisor review links that you can also add in here. TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of those things can go in here. And they will show up right on in your listing profile with distinct icons. Down here, this is that new field I mentioned. If you're an accommodation operator, we have a short-term accommodation number field that we'd like you to go in and add. So you can just add your number here by clicking on this button, and it'll show up a little text field here for you to add your accommodation number. Okay, on to media. So for media, we have two areas. We have we have 3 areas. We have a main hero media, which is at the top here. We have a thumbnail image. A thumbnail is the same as a card. So where we saw that short description, if you want a different image on your card versus on your listing page, that would be your thumbnail image. And then of course we have carousel images. So you can remove or edit these just by clicking this remove button, and it'll prompt you to update an image like this. You could edit it if you like. This is all been scraped from the previous website, so most of these images should be exactly what you had previously submitted, but you're welcome to edit them. You can change the name, you can add a caption if you'd like. You can download the original if you don't have this photo, and you can update your images here, and same with any of the carousel images. Now I want to get into magic content. This was a frequently asked question around magic content. So this is our AI integration for listings, which is called Magic Content. What you can do is you can refresh your website, and Magic Content relies on you having a website in here. So if you don't have your website in here, maybe you're a small time business that maybe only has like a Facebook page, no problem, but you just might not have a ton of luck scraping because it's coming from Facebook as opposed to its own website. But give it a go, do a refresh website, and it's going to populate some suggestions down here. So underneath AI recommendations, you can open up this tab, and it will look at the website to recommend new content and media. So as you can see here, like there is a new suggestion for a subtitle, which is currently missing. a new suggestion for short description or long description. Some of the details are the same because it's pulling that the website is the same website. You can update things that maybe aren't provided, like a new Instagram account, if there was a postal code. And then underneath media, this will scrape pretty much your entire website with any images that it finds available. So you can add this here, and you can also add it in your media tab. So this is what this is, and just clicking on any of these images will bring it to your carousel media. So this is a good way to refresh your content without a lot of effort, especially if you're often updating your own website. You can just come in here and take the content from your website and add it right into your listing page. Okay, lastly, we have a couple reporting things. So under reports, you'll see your web page activities. You can change your view here. It's going to auto to the last 30 days. And we'll have a little bit more information here around campaigns that get launched. But for the most part, it's web page views and visitor traffic flow. Any outbound clicks that you may have, either to your website or to booking links, will also be recorded here. And then under engagement, you can toggle on to send weekly or monthly reports to yourself. So this is going to send this whole page, including your web page views, your outbound clicks, the visitor traffic, to whatever email is in here. And you can toggle it to be weekly or monthly just by clicking these toggles here like this. And make sure you press save. Okay, that's our overview of listings. And I think I've answered most of the frequently asked questions. One that I maybe missed was if you needed to have operating hours, which the answer is no. If you leave this section blank, it won't show up on the front end. So if you're a business that maybe doesn't operate on regular business hours, just leave this blank and it won't show up on the front end. And I'd recommend maybe adding something to your full description down here about how maybe you're appointment only, maybe you don't have set business hours and you have to email to book something. You can add that type of information in here. Okay, now I'm going to just pop back over to our slide deck to talk about events. So submitting events, there's a couple ways that you can do it. We have a event submission form on the front end of the website that I'll show you. And then also when you're in the back end, you can submit your events. Both are pretty much the same type of form. They just look a little bit different, and both go to the Visit the County team for approval and review. A couple of key things to note when submitting events. You want to ensure that all of the required details are inputted, or you will have problems saving. This is both on the front end or the back end. If you're getting a server communication error or a submit error, it's probably highlighting a field that you might have missed that is not letting you properly submit your event. The cost field we get a lot of questions about. This was a frequently asked question. Even if your event doesn't have a cost, we still require you to just put a 0 in. You can also add a lot of text to the cost field, which is great for involving more detailed information, because maybe your event has tiered costs where, children are free, adults are $20 and seniors are $10. You can add all of that text in there, or you could say starting at $10. There's a lot of information that you can add, which I find is just really helpful and doesn't, lock you into one price for one event. And then you want to ensure that your start and end dates are the same date, even for repeating events. This is like the most common issue that we find. So I'll walk you through the back end and we'll go through how to submit a reoccurring event. We have kind of 3 main types of events: single day events, multiple day events, and then repeating or recurring events. And the difference between a multiple day event versus a recurring event is a multiple day event is usually sequential. So it might be like a festival that's happening all weekend, but there's events happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A recurring or repeating event is something that is on a repeat schedule. So it's either happening daily, weekly, monthly, or annually. And typically we have some structure around what type of recurring events that you can submit. So let's take a peek at event submission. Okay, so back over here, let's walk through submitting an event from scratch in the back end. Okay, up here we have a new event. So when you click that, you'll have your kind of basic info to submit. Someone had a really good point when we were talking through tickets the other day around the fact that you have to submit your basic information here first and press create event before the media field shows up. So if you see that you're missing an image, you just have to press create event and then it'll give you a little bit more information, and you can review it before you submit it to the Visit the County team. So let's add an event in here. I'm going to call this Rebecca's event. Make sure to select your primary region. You can add in your descriptor here. Again, this is our cost field. So see how it is a required field. If it's a 0, if it's a free event, add in a 0. If it is an event that maybe needs a little bit more detail, you can say things like starting at $10, or maybe there is, you know, an adults and a kid rate. You can add in your context here. You can paste your ticket URL. So I'm just going to paste in a link here. We have our contact information. So this is specific to this event. So maybe there is a volunteer team or an office that's handling like ticket sales or event information. You can put in the email, phone number, and the event website. And then here's our event time box. So let's go through the different types of events that you can submit. A single day event would have a start time that might have a start date, and it might have a start time and then an end date. So let's say my event is this morning, maybe from 8:30 to 10:30. This is going to auto to Eastern time, of course. And I can add in my location, which is the Studio Tech. You can search and find yourself there. So this would be what we consider a single day event. And this single day event has specific start and end times. If it was maybe a single day event that was all day, you can toggle this all day option and it's going to get rid of your start and end times there. This is just an April 15th event that happens all day. Now maybe this is a all day event, but it also happens tomorrow. I would want to add a new event time because this event, I do that all the time where I accidentally press back. Okay, let's go back down here. I can create a new event time to make the first day of my event today, and then maybe the second day of my event is tomorrow. This is particularly helpful, especially if you have an event that is multiple days but different times. So if it wasn't an all-day event, maybe my event today is from 5 p.m. until 6 p.m., let's say. And then tomorrow, it's also at the Studio Tech. And instead of being all day, it's going to be at 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. So this is what we would call a multi-day event. Oh, I chose the wrong day. So this is happening today, 5 to 6, and then tomorrow, 7 to 8. And this ensures that the event is shown up in the event calendar on both days. And this is great for sequential events. Instead, maybe I want to have a repeating event. So let's say this is an event that happens every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. You have a couple options here for repeating events. So my frequency would be weekly, but we also have daily, monthly, and annually. This is a repeat interval. So maybe this happens. Repeat interval is how many times the repeating event happens, whereas repeating frequency is how many times the event itself happens. So typically repeat intervals are left blank because it's usually happening every week and there's maybe no end date. But maybe this is happening for 4 weeks and then it happens for another 4 weeks afterwards. My repeat interval would be 2 times. This is your options for end times. So my repeating event could be happening for 4 weeks. I would put in 4 here, or I could do repeat until a specific date. So maybe I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and I can select the date that it repeats until. Those are kind of your 2 options for repeating events. And then you don't have to enter your event multiple times. It will just repopulate the event on the event calendar every week. Yeah, so hopefully that's clear. I want to just go through the front end with you as well so that you can see what the event submission form looks like on the front end. So back over here. So on the front end of the website, a couple things to know. We have our industry portal, which this is the login with Turismo option. So if you signed up as a collaborator and maybe you lost that link or you don't want to just keep going back to your email to find that link, just head to the industry portal page and this will take you right to that sign-in page. If you are a new business reaching out, we'll have a call to action on this webpage soon, but you can email us directly to get your new listing on the website. This is to log in if you already have a listing on the Visit the County site. Let's head over to the event calendar. So we have our What's On in the County event calendar, and this is where you'll be able to find your events. Right at the bottom here, and as well on the industry portal page, we have the submit an event call to action. So this form is super similar to what we just walked through in the back end, but you can see that the required fields are all pretty much the same, as well as this like timing option. So this one, you have your repeat every how many weeks, your frequency, and then your date until, and your search location. So it looks a little bit different, but the details are the same. This one, your media is right here. You can upload multiple images, a video, whatever you'd like in here. And this is what it looks like on the front end. So this is great to point your staff towards if you maybe have access to the collaborator backend yourself, but your social media person is the one that usually keeps track of the event calendar. Just send them this way so that they don't need to go into the backend. They can go right through the website here. This is public facing. Okay, I think I will go back over here. All right. So lastly, I feel like we've covered a lot of this, but I'll just go through the frequently asked questions and a few things that's coming up for Turismo, and then we'll keep the last 15, 20 minutes to open up to questions. So a couple of frequently asked questions that were submitted before this webinar. Thank you for doing that. One, I don't see my business on the map. This is almost always that your listing is missing its lat long under that location hours as we had walked through. 2, how best to position an event listing to show up on dates leading up to the event and on each day of the event that it occurs. So my suggestion would be to submit a multi-day event or an all-day event that spans across multiple days if there's not specific times. This just is the easiest submission on your end. You only have to submit the event once, but it'll ensure that your event shows up multiple times on the event calendar on the front end. This was a great question. If you can submit images or logos to be stored for future use, absolutely. Anything that you submit to your media library can be searched for and found again. So ensure that your file is titled properly so that you can search for it later. But you're welcome to update your logos and that's one of the pieces that is upcoming with us. So definitely you can submit that to the media library. And lastly, we covered this, but if your organization does not have set business hours, you can totally remove them from your listing and it will not show on the front end. Maybe include a note about this in your full description. Okay, so I want to just go through a few things that are upcoming with Turismo. I'm trying to touch on both back-end features for you as collaborators, as well as some things that are be happening on the front page of, or sorry, the front end of the website. So as I mentioned, we're in the midst of a bit of a tag restructuring. So tagging is open for you to review in your listings, but this will be something that changes a little bit over the next month, just in terms of merging some of the categories and making those filters a little bit clearer for users on the front end. We're still in the midst of some continued design and styling work on the front end. We will be doing a bit of a media reorganization as we move over from Crowdriff, and so you might notice some media categories as you upload to your hero image or your carousel images. There might be albums available for you to look at, or you can also tag your own images to find them a little bit, to find them easier later on. We have two kind of sets of AI that are currently available to administrators, but also will be useful for collaborators in the future. So the first one is Destination Intelligence. This is an AI analysis of your business listing that prepares a scorecard and recommendations based on selected personas. So the Visit the County team will be working with us to select and build out their selected personas that we have uploaded to Turismo to then act as like AI bots to review listings. And so your business listing can get an AI analysis that not only reviews just the information you have in Turismo, but it's also going to look at your own website, any type of reviews you have on Google Business and Google and TripAdvisor, and then your Google Business profile as well. So it's going to give a really thorough look at the information that you have, and it will kind of put together some sort of scorecard and recommendation, and it can be emailed to you as a collaborator to review and make changes if you so desire. Lastly, we have an agentic AI coming for administrators and collaborators. This is a chatbot that will just help you do things in the back end. As I mentioned, and as I didn't show, but in the back end here, this chat option in the left-hand corner, this goes right to myself. This is not a robot. You start a conversation and it comes right to me. Coming in the future is an agentic chat that will be AI powered and will help you kind of do things in the back end. You can ask it to update your listing. You can ask it to recommend tags for your listing. You can ask it to create an event by just like posting your event information into the chat. And there's a great number of things that it will be able to help you do. So that will hopefully be rolling out this year, and we'll make sure to keep you updated. And that's all. I want to make sure that we have lots of time for questions. So I think maybe what I'll do, Sarah, if you want to chime in, I'm happy to like go through the chat if that's helpful, or we can do a raise hand and talk through.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, I just want to thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, Charles, for moderating the chat. I know there's a ton of information to absorb here, which is why we are recording this call for reference. But also just want to express thanks to the Turismo team. We've just really enjoyed working with you so far. You've been incredibly responsive. We love that there's a real person on the other side of that chat option in the back end. And we appreciate everybody who's submitting feedback right now, because, as you know, implementing these new tools, we find out what works and what doesn't. And I think that because the Turismo team is so collaborative, we have the opportunity to really optimize these tools to our advantage. So we rely on your feedback to make the website work for everybody. And we're so excited about these new features that we have, the extra filtering. We've had so much feedback over the past year or so about how the events display. And so it's nice to have that update as well. And I think that as we continue this conversation with everybody who's got a business listing, it's just going to help us improve. So I think over the next few months, you're going to see it really tighten up. And it's going to get to a place that's really going to optimize it for the visitor who's coming to look for information and specific experiences. So now that we're going into the questions, if you have any and you want to talk, you're welcome to do so. Please just use the hand icon at the bottom of the screen to raise your hand, and we'll take those questions in order. If you're more comfortable entering it into the chat, we can do it like that as well. And I see that we have had an ongoing conversation in the chat throughout Rebecca's presentation. So maybe we can just go over a few of those pieces right now. I think one of the major ones was about what region to choose if you have an event that has multiple locations across the county. And one of the things that was added was a county region that encompasses the entire area. So hopefully that'll bypass any challenges you might have faced there. Good for the studio tour and things like the jazz festival, that sort of thing that are taking place in different locations. Okay, we've had some notes about the names of the regions. And I think right now what we did was we implemented the traditional ward names because that's sort of how the geography is broken down. But yeah, I think that we can continue the conversation about what's most recognizable and how that's going to impact the visitor experience. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands being raised. Is there anything else? Oh, Annie, please go ahead.
Hi, I did ask this question in the chat, but Charles said he didn't know what the answer was. So Rebecca, maybe you do. Oh, sorry. I am managing the, I'm so sorry. Okay. I am managing the business for somebody, but I don't have regular access to their email account. And so it's always a struggle because you send an email gets sent and I have to wait till she's off work to. Is there a way to have me as the admin as opposed to the business owner and the front facing email?
Okay, so we can't, at this point, we don't have the capability to have two accounts be administrator. We can definitely change her account that it's an email that you do have access to, or maybe your own email, and then make the public facing email her email or her business email.
Okay, can I do that on the back? Can I register myself and then go in and change that front facing email?
Yes, you can send us an email and I'll assign the listing to you, and then you can go back in and edit the email to make sure it's her public facing one.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And you can do that in the chat, or sorry, not in this webinar chat, in the backend chat, or just emailing us at support@turismo.co.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Annie. Yes, the Waring House.
Hi, yes. Sorry, I'm just trying to remove one of the additional links in the basic info, and it doesn't seem like there is a way to do it. Charles said, hit the trash can to the right, but there's no trash can to the right. It doesn't exist.
Additional link. Okay, let me go look.
So, like, there's an old Twitter account that we don't use. I just want to remove that URL, but I'm not seeing a way I can do that. All I have the option to do is add socials.
All right, I see where you're looking. Additional links. Yes, I also don't see a
I
garbage.
don't see trash can.
I don't think you're crazy.
Mm.
I will report that as a bug. Maybe our
Okay.
garbage can has gone missing. So
Okay.
let me poke someone on that, and then I think I have your email. I'll email you directly and let you know when it's been added back on.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're winding down the hour, so last call for questions. If not, if you have some kind of very specific questions about your specific business listing, as Rebecca said, you can email support@turismo.co. You can reach out in that chat in the back end of the website, and you can always email us at hello@visitthecounty.com.
Great.
Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions, so I'll thank everybody for the time that they've spent with us today. We will be making this recording available via our industry newsletter, and we'll share that link there and on our socials as well. So thanks very much, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you April 28th for our season launch webinar, where we're going to share all of the key information about what's new in the county for 2026. A little sneak peek, good news, the Regent Theatre Visitor Information Center is going to be open extra long this year, starting at the beginning of June, going to the end of September. So that's 4 months, 10 to 10, 7 days a week, providing visitor information in person. So we're super excited to continue improving that service. And we've got lots of other exciting announcements. So check out the industry newsletter that has the link to sign up for that webinar. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, Charles. Take care.